welcome to Modern Woman Profession. Last week we talked about the characteristic about women, what they need to do to attract the men want. We talk about appearances, we talk about money, and then how money can be the character factor for a woman relationship. And we talk about appearances, how appearances can be also attractive to men that you wear, the way you wear. This is what you men gonna visualize, men attract to. Now we're gonna talk about the other second part, and this is by Adama Lona. Give us some love, shout out, and we'll see that video. And this is the second part, and we're gonna go dive to it.
Really, really important component to think about in your 20s as you're crafting the life you want. So the next thing I want to talk about is actually hobbies. And I think this is a really underrated conversation, but it really is an important component of living a life that's enriched beyond just financial goals and, financial pursuits. I genuinely believe from what I've seen of other women's journeys, people that I've spoken to in life, people that I've seen online, things that I've read, that if you don't invest in your creative energy, right, those creative juices, there will be a
Hobby is a good component. I totally agree with her. But the point of the matter is, most of the women, those they don't have anything to do. All they have to do social media, only fan. That's not their hobby. They don't have really a social skill. For example, they don't even feel like to dress. For example, to dance, either to read. They have back in the day they have a book club where everyone can gather read together, and also they have dance club where you can gather and dance together, and then they have something equivalent and people can do. For example, they can go when you get older they got bingo club. It is just interaction for other people. For example, keep your mind busy to just busy, so you won't have a closed door and you won't be able to sacrifice yourself or able to depress and so on and so forth. That's the idea being hobby. Hobbies means something that you like and then you find interesting, that you're willing to do every day, and then without putting you down. And most of the time now they have social media, they have TikTok, and they have everything on their hand, but they decided to post something on major on TikTok. So basically they have to cry about, or to whine about, or to be so people can cater to them, because their life is miserable. Because this is what happened in the society. They want the attracting. They don't want to do the work for the being the hobby, but they want the society to feel bad for them, to cater to them for the bad behavior. And then this is where we have an issue is, because now we're not talking about a hobby, we're talking about like people that had mentally issue. So this is where the part the contrary are. This is not really a hobby. Hobby is something that really interesting, something you like, something you feel proud for, and something you see yourself into. And then men love to do that, because men, when you get married, if you have a hobby, men all can always support that and then encourage you to do more. But if you don't have a hobby, just stay home all day, or you talk about do your nail, do your hair, and then go shopping. Go shopping is not a hobby. Go shopping just waste of money, waste of time, really. And you can do something like, for example, do the cooking classes, go to other classes, do something, learn something new, for example, and then be a chef, something like that, so you can have yourself busy, so you can work your hobby, and then while you doing your hobby, you can skill it, and then you get money and make money out of it. So basically that would be a win for both one in relationship. But some people see differently.
feeling of lack in your life. Right? And this could just be a general thing in a sense where if everything is geared to money, you sit back and you're like, And it's also really important because I think it makes you a more dynamic and interesting person, both to yourself and to those around you, right? Like if you find things that you're passionate about and that excite you and that you don't necessarily have to worry about how much money you're going to make on it, you can kind of invest that energy into that thing and just enjoy it for what it is. So try new things, pick up a paintbrush, try a new instrument, go swimming, go to Pilates, go horse riding. Try these things out and see what hobbies fit you. You don't have to do what anybody else is doing, but do things that align with you. It's so funny because you always get that question like, oh, what do you do for fun? Or, give us 3 interesting facts about yourself. And you're sitting there like, I play Sims 2, 3, and 4, if that counts.
And men as well, they have a hobby. Their hobby is play video game or sometimes go to the room. That's their hobby. That's what they like to do when they are the free time. Women misguided that, like when they go to the room and they watch TV or play video game, is they are being lazy. No, no, no. It's their hobby. It's what they do. They feel interesting. They feel like they spread themselves for the whole globe. So this is when they feel themselves like valuable or isolation. This is what happens when you have a hobby, but don't mistreat it as laziness. Most people confuse it as no, no, no. It's not lazy. That it's something that they feel interested, they like. So that's what happened.
And so the next thing I want to talk about is online influences. We spend so much time online that it's impossible to not talk about this when you're talking about growing into the person that you want to be. Because the things that we
She said about online influences. I'll go further. Don't let anybody influence your life. That's basic because if you let someone influence your life, that's mean like one, you don't have self esteem, two, you don't have self respect, and three, you're not a free thinker, you cannot think on your own. Most women or followers are totally get it, but the thing is there's a matter of time that you gotta follow who to go where. But the thing is you gotta know yourself. Most women are follow someone because they don't know their son, they don't know their value, and then that's what they influence. Your hobbies not supposed somebody to do that you're gonna grow up and then follow some person or something that you like for interest, something that you feel pleasure with, something that you enjoy, and this is the equivalent of you or taking the path of happiness or stress release. But online influence like on social media and everyone, you don't have to use social media. Social media is a privilege. Our third world country doesn't have really that social media. Poor country doesn't really focus on social media. They have family, they have friends, they have something to do. They use social media in order to post to the for the business or either to talk for friend or connection. That's it. They don't post on TikTok every day. They don't do on channel every day. They use social media as a part of them to keep interact with the world, not in the way to further influence them. For example, follow the new trend and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things that you can do with social media. You can, for example, looking for a recipe. You can looking for how to build a car, how to build substance with social media of internet. But those social media talking about like TikTok and then something like that, those are bad influence where people do prank and a scam. This is not good for you as a woman. If you fall into that trap, you're gonna attract a drug dealer. You're gonna attract be all those kind of the scammer because you're using a bad habit, and then the bad thing gonna attract bad energy, and those guys gonna be gonna find attractive because you're already feed up with those bad habit, with those bad influence. Now you become part of it,
engage
which
with and
is
interact with influence the things we do and that we don't do, the way we see the world, the way we see ourselves, so many things. And so in your 20s, when you are trying to become that ideal version of yourself, that ideal woman, it is so important what you are consuming and that you're auditing what you're consuming, in a sense that checking who you're following. Does it still make sense to follow the same person you followed at 19 or 21 now that you're 26? Are these people and what they're posting and what they're talking about still aligned with where you're trying to go and what you're trying to be? If you know there are things that you want to achieve in life or certain types of life you want to live, again, it's not about replicating anybody's life, but
you can follow anyone you want. You can follow it, but the thing is, ask what kind of degree. For example, people follow Chris Brown to find out what's a little concert, and next thing you know, they pay $8,000 to get a picture. This is a bad following. For example, you can follow someone. For example, a journey. For example, weight loss journey. You follow that person to see how much you went now, and for a month from now, how much you value. That's a good influence. That's a good follower. But the person that's following for the bad intention, this is bad for yourself, and then you attract bad people around you, and it's bad energy. This is what happened. Women most likely they are trigger and attract most of the time for bad influence. That's why they follow bad people, they follow bad advice because themselves they don't feel like competent enough to have a clean mindset to do bad and all. So that's why they have a lot of followers. They're trying to follow up people so they can have their soma. But at the end of the day, they repeat the same thing that people being saying, and they're trying to say it in their own word. That's why they say women are easy to follow, especially for the government, and men are harder to follow because men has to be, you gotta present fact and you gotta present put your feeling aside. So basically you have to be pay attention to that because this is making you
learning
attract
from the
others.
experiences and perhaps some of the mistakes or the trials of others, right? Then engage with those accounts, because if you keep feeding yourself these other things and keep signaling to the algorithm that that is what you want, that is what you want to see, then that is what you'll see, and it will impact your everyday. So moving on from online influences, I want to talk about challenging your ideas in your 20s. If you want to be a woman of the world, but really somebody who is involved or interested in seeking truth and understanding and having really engaging dynamic conversations, you have to be willing to challenge your ideas about life and challenge the way you think things work. In our 20s, I feel like we can be quite stubborn or think we know it all, or really have these idealized visions about the way the world works.
Yes, that's true. We are very soon because we know everything. We have strong. We think we have time. We got energy. But the time go fast. After that, you become old. You become bitter. And then this is where your most part identity is framed. Because if you feed yourself with good energy, with good aspect, you become the person, divine person, a good person to be around. And you're after when you get older. But then 20, if you have bad energy stuff like that, when you get older, it's not easy to take it out. It's gonna longer. People gonna notice that. That's why they said when you be toxic in your 20s is bad because now in your 30s, 40s, you cannot take it out. Even though you put a dress, but people are gonna see that in your bad behavior when someone says something and you're gonna do the anger, the bitter, and then the toxicity gonna come out of you regardless trying to hide it or not. And men are easily to see that because your face already say what you who you are. So that's why you have to able to feed yourself with something good, especially if you in your 20s or if you got a whole face or hard girl summer men gonna see that because by the way behavior you dress up like almost street walkers and then you talk about VDs, talk about delation, you talk about one night stand, you talk about having fun, you talk about finding yourself. Those are the code that men find out your 3 or 4 activity you're being to the whole phase and next thing you're taxing, next thing you dress up for the street and now in your 30s and 40s you're trying to have a good men they already know you can see that on your behavior you cannot change it. It's gonna take a longer time for you to be that person to that you were previously to change to see the effect. But at that time, time passed, and the man that was supposed to be with you is already you've got one away, and the man that's left over, are you really able to take that man? So this is the dynamic women feel like now when they see the good what is a
Works,
good man for them.
which means we're less likely to interact with information, books, people who challenge those ideas and concepts that we have. And that's really only to our own detriment. When I was around 22, 23, I started watching content and engaging with content that was very different to the ideas that I had about life. And at first, there was kind of a visceral reaction. But the more that I listened, the more kind of overlap I found, like the more points of similarities than differences I found in the way that this person was speaking, right? And I was open to listening to them. And I think that in itself is a superpower. Being willing to listen to ideas that are going to force you to question yours. So if you want to be the type of woman who can go to a dinner party and speak about something, or at brunch, or even if you want to be open to having relationships with friends.
Also, you gotta know women are faced by other women. Most of the time, if someone says something about them, they're gonna be influenced with that. So that's why it is good for you to have someone has to have a good shoulder, someone that see yourself like for your good. Because women they destroy other women. So in order to protect yourself, you gotta stay away from the toxicity. You gotta know the certificate, and then stay away from that because if you step in that, is a dark side in your life that most people cannot take away or most people cannot run from when you get older because now you get on go too deep into it so you gotta take a longer time to achieve it. And also women you gotta understand that stop being bitter of life in your 20s who hurt you. If someone got a big go to a breakup like as a man or somebody rejection, it's for you to take a mental away, just go to therapy, read books and something like that to step away. Don't feed up men are bad, men are this, men are that because sometimes some people are good, some people are bad, but you gotta be able to have discernment to skip that out and to make it different and then be the woman that you want and then take the man of your dream because most women are trapped on that season and that page of the life where they can move on. Pay attention to that as well.
Or particular partner whose ideas may differ from your own, then you have to be willing to listen. It doesn't mean you have to accept everything, but it does mean you have to be willing to listen in good faith. And finally, let's talk about relationships. This is such a big part of life in your 20s, and I literally did a whole video just about friends and losing and gaining them. But one thing you'll find in your 20s is that you really, really want to nurture the relationships you have, especially those high quality individuals, people who enrich you and who, you feed back into, and that there is such a great dynamic. Because I think the older you get, the more opportunities for organic meeting becomes less, right? Without school or university.
True, because relationship, women are social creature. They love relationship, but the point of the matter is who you gonna attract to. The relationship you have to have is gonna be fun relationship. Women think relationship is when somebody either buy them a drink, somebody buy them a food, somebody give them gift, or somebody there's somebody on top of them. This is not relationship. With some relationship is some bond or some connection with someone. For example, you have a connection with a classmate. They have the same idea, the same goal, so you have a connection with that person and then that you build a relationship or social class as a classmate. They call it colleague, so you can discuss and have their ideas stuff like that. Women don't see it as a friendship or just a relationship. They see it as somebody that owned that told them. It's different mentality. It's not because I'm under. It's something like you sharing the same point of view. You got the same aspect of life, and then you're able to join together the same level in order to achieve greatness. And women don't see that. They see relationship as a point that is a reward for their hard work. It's not that everyone is able to come contribute to each other, and after the day you guys become somebody, and in the scene, everyone is happy, because at the end of the day we are entitled for whatever you want, but at the end of the day we are both gonna suffer, and somewhere or another somebody gonna take the blame. And as a mother woman, you guys, they're gonna see you differently in your life than they see you as who you are, which is chaotic. And a lot of men still for this chaotic life, and most men already to see that and then step away, and they trigger easily for that.
where you are with your peers and people who you likely have commonalities with, that decreases. But that doesn't mean that it just has to stop. And this is why I say in your 20s, where you do have these types of events or sorts of areas and arenas where you can meet people, like the gym, like work, like that painting and Prosecco class, reach out to people, have conversations. You never know who you're going to meet. So, moving on from that in relationships, I want to talk about boundaries, because in your 20s, you will come across multiple people who try to push your boundaries. This is just life in general. But I think the younger you are, the more people will try to test you, and the more time you may falter. And that's okay. I don't think you should beat yourself up about it too much. But you do need to understand your ground rules, establish them, and stick to them, right? Because there will be people.
And women always make boundaries not the same as standards. A boundaries that you got a moral aspect. There's something that you have to live on, and somebody cross that, and according to your role moral code, you shouldn't let that person keep going, or you should cut loose. This is boundary. When someone cross that line between you and your morality and your respect, this is why they cut off the line. But standard is something that you came up with, something you built on your own, and this is the point that people don't see, and then don't understand, because at the end of the day we all gonna have boundaries, we all gonna have a standard, but your standard don't mean a boundary. The boundary is just something, is like a no go, but a standard is something you came up with the experience of life, or either it's something that you notice, it's something that you see, somebody that you understand. So that's the idea of it.
People, like I said, who try to test you. And it's important to find the balance between I'm in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or a partner, right? And therefore, there's going to be another person with another set of ideas about life and experiences. So you're not going to be able to have everything your way or everything their way. It's compromise. That doesn't mean that your boundaries can keep being crossed, and that's okay. So I think in your 20s, work out your boundaries, work out what's not okay for you, and stick to that. Final thing that kind of leads into that in boundaries is about your intuition and that gut feeling.
Okay, you know what this is? I'm not going to intuition. Intuition is just nothing about, it's just about a third eye or something like that. That's the intuition. It's a human instinct. At the end of the day, intuition can be nothing but a vague thing. Because they say a woman has good intuition, but at the end of the day, end up pick up the bad body players, and they know guys, some don't know, that business thing they complain about the internet, or what the argument go, and they all mean about. We're not gonna go into that. Because at the end of the day, if you're young right now, you got all the energy. You can work on your money, your beauty, and your intuition, and your intuition is gonna be red flag. But if you have moral and boundary and standard, your intuition is gonna be clean, because then you have discernment. But it's different for your life. Don't let a bad influence or bad thing happen to you to dictate the way you behave, to love and to cherish people. At the end of the day, you can get hurt and bitter. And then when you get older, when you go with that, you're gonna be insensitive, and so people, you're gonna push people away, people that really want you, that people really have a good intention for you, that really love you. That's the repetition of what you feed yourself every day, that she mentioned. And then next thing you know, you'll be able to be a better person every day. Do it today, so tomorrow you'll be able to have an easy life, a beautiful life. Every day is not sunny, every day has difficulty, but don't let those bad things become a part of your life. So become a different person, and become someone that nobody want to be hang out with, someone don't want to invite in the party, and then you want to be alone in your life. So that's my answer for the day. If you like my video, thumbs up, subscribe, and I